You are about to enter Chuck versus the podcast, the place for people who love Chuck and the people who work on Chuck. The only show that takes you behind the scenes with the stars.
Yvonne Strahowski.
Zachary Levi. Joshua Gomez.
Ryan McParland.
Adam Balba.
Sarah Lancaster.
Interactive interviews.
Julia Wing.
Phil Clemmer.
All the cast.
Dixon High. Tony Hale. Scott Krinsky. Mark Christopher Lawrence.
Anita Federici.
Fun hosts.
This is Mel. This is Liz. Now you can see how wacko we are.
The writers.
Ali Adler. Scott Rosenbaum. Zev Barrow.
The editors.
Matt Barber. Jeff Granville. Kevin Mock.
Contests.
We are giving away a Chuck press kit.
The directors.
Jason Ensley. Norman Buckley.
The guest stars.
Steve Austin.
Kristen Group.
The music.
This is Tim Jones.
Guest hosts.
I'm Kaylee from Toronto.
Conventions.
Lights come up, and here comes Jeffster out on stage.
Set visits.
This is the guy right here.
And much more. Are you ready? This is great.
This is Mel.
This is Liz.
And we want to welcome you to Chuck versus the Podcast, episode 79 for Thursday, February 3rd, 2011. We have an amazing episode of Chuck to discuss, but first we got to get the news out of the way. So, first of all, the fast overnight ratings are in, and somehow Chuck hit a season low with last night's amazing episode, Chuck versus the Push Mix. It pulled in a 1.7 in the 18 to 49 demo with approximately 5.5 million viewers tuning in. And I honestly think that the winter storm hitting was largely to blame. I mean, a number of reasons that could be because the Cape also hit a series low with a 1.5 rating. And Harry's Law bounced back with a 2.1, but Mel had a great point in an email earlier that's the later part of the evening, and so the early part of the evening people were probably stocking up, going shopping. I know we certainly were, gassing up the car, getting ready for the impending storm. It's hitting all over. It's hitting here in Canada, hitting all of the northern states. I honestly think that that's what was to blame, but what do you guys think?
That's what I'm standing by. People calling me and, emailing me saying, if you don't have to go out, if you don't have to go to the store, don't, or my sister, can I get you anything? I'm at the store and it's packed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, gas stations, there were lines out the street and just, this horrible panic. And then the pictures coming through of empty shelves in the stores. And it's crazy. And we are literally snowed in.
Yeah.
And it's the same all the way as south here as Kansas. We got off work early on Monday, thank goodness. So I was able to run by the store and grab what I needed and get home before the big rush. But my friend who lives across the street from the grocery store told me that it was jammed until around 8:00 last night, or on Monday night, with people getting their bread and milk. So yeah, that's what I think it was people getting out and getting their stuff and getting ready to hunker down.
Yeah, so I wouldn't worry too much. NBC looks at the overall numbers. They don't look at just one night, and I think it's pretty obvious that this was just a blip.
I'm willing to
DVR numbers are for this one.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet over the next few days those numbers are going to climb because no one can go anywhere. Businesses are shut down. I mean, my business is shut down tomorrow.
We're off for 2 days.
Yeah,
it's unheard of for us, but it's that bad. So, Yep. Well, moving on, the Twit Change auction that you would have remembered from last autumn was a huge success, and they're going to do it again. Zachary Levi is participating once again. He has 4 different options up for bid, including a follow, a retweet, and a mention on his Twitter account. Proceeds benefit Operation Once in a Lifetime, whose mission is to make the dreams of soldiers and their families come true by providing free financial and morale support. And you can go to twitchange.com to find Zach's auction and bid on him.
Very cool.
He was one of the top 2 highest bid earners. I don't know how to say that. He was one of the top 2 that raised the most money last time, so we'll see how that works again. It's Chuck fans mobilized.
Chuck fans are good at charity. That's one thing I've got to say.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. And we had a terrific response for the first ever Chuck fashion column. So it looks like it's here to stay, and there's going to be more. This week's, it's cool. I love this week's feature as well because we featured Ellie's 2 wedding dresses along with those kick butt boots that Sarah wore that caused so much lust out there, especially among us women. I don't know, there's some men out there, whatever. But you can find that all. You can find that all at Chuck Fashion Column at chucktv.net.
And this is the first time that I have a beer on the podcast. Moosehead for all those Canadians out there. And I want to toast Sarah Lancaster. We heard just recently that our own Ellie Bartowski married her boyfriend of 2 years, attorney Matthew Jacobs, on Saturday, and confirmed to People that she's expecting their first child later this year. So we want to extend very happy congratulations to the happy couple. And also, I did hear as well that Josh Schwartz and Chris Fedak have confirmed that this will not be part of the story. They're going to work around it. So similar to what's happened on hard. It shouldn't be too hard, especially because I think the timing is perfect because they're going to wrap shooting just as she starts to show, and then they won't be shooting again, and then hopefully they won't have too many episodes that they have to work around it. A bit of trivia is the first season of Greatest American Hero was affected by something similar. Connie Selica was fully pregnant in the first season of Greatest American Hero, and if you watch that season, most of the shots of her are close shots of her face, and literally, if you were to pan down, she's like got a big baby inside her. So
got the belly going.
Yeah, they can do it.
Yeah. Yes, life imitates art. Congratulations to Sarah and her new husband.
Yeah. Yep. Now, I have no idea how I could possibly segue from that into this episode. Well, it is a push mix. Yeah, baby. Yeah, babies. Chuck versus the push mix, I thought was an awesome episode. I do have to open the discussion by saying I regret the fact that Josh Schwartz and Chris Fedak pumped it up so much, and specifically told us that what was going to happen in the last 10 minutes was going to be so epic that it was going to eclipse everything that had come before in the entire series. And when you use those kinds of words, I think it's immediately setting up for disappointment. But even so, I thought it was an incredibly strong episode. What did you guys think?
Well, I thought that he should have said the first 50 minutes would eclipse what we'd seen before. I thought I really liked the last 10 minutes, I did, but the first 50 minutes are what I would call epic, where they're working to bring down Volkoff, and and if you go back and watch again and you see Chuck's plan in action, this is kind of set up like a pace, like a Leverage episode.
Yeah.
Plotted out like a Leverage episode where, they have some elaborate con going on, and you can kind of pick up that there's some things happening, but you don't really know what's happening until the big payoff. And that's what was going on in this episode for me anyway. When I went back and watched, knowing what the ultimate payoff was, I was able to see all the little clues that they had planted for us. I picked up on a couple the first time around, but rewatching, you can really see how layered this episode is and just how well written it was. In my opinion, it really, especially the first, like I said, the first 50 minutes, I thought lived up to the epic word that they like to throw around. But I thought the last 10 minutes were very good. Proposal is just, did my little romantic heart good. I loved the way they portrayed that it was such a private, intimate moment between the two of them. We didn't even hear what was being said, but we could tell what was being said, and that, that she accepted. And I really loved how they did that.
Yeah. And we were talking before the podcast about how this could actually have been the series finale if they didn't get the back nine, and if they didn't get a renewal for the next season. And I think it would have been one of the strongest series finales that I would have seen, if I can put it that way.
It would have been
Yeah,
very
I think for me, the last 10 minutes I didn't hear too much about what was going on out there. I kind of stayed away because I don't want it spoiled for myself. So the last 10 minutes for me were breathless. I couldn't breathe.
Wow.
Couldn't exhale. I didn't see any of that coming. What happened? And, I didn't think that I was that dumb when it came to this show.
Uh-huh.
But I'm watching this last night and I'm going, what did Chuck do? I don't get it. And then, oh my gosh. So, I don't know.
Somebody went back and tracked it, and they said that the 10 minutes start when Volkoff says solution.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess technically, we get the big payoff during that last 10 minutes. So, yeah, I guess that does count as epic.
Yeah.
Yeah, Liz, I was the same. As that was all going down, I was like, what? Oh, what?
Well, I think that actually raises a good point, though, because I think that if I hadn't have heard Josh Schwartz say the last 10 minutes, I think that if I would have probably enjoyed it just a hair more. I mean, I love the episode, but I think that I wouldn't have been hindered at all if it hadn't been for that. I did hear some reaction that was split about the episode, and one of the things that someone brought up was that it was so easy for Sarah when Mary Bartowski had been trying for 20 years to do this. I didn't have a problem with that, especially because they were working together. Mary Bartowski knew his security so well. She knew the 1 meter spot on the whole grounds that the security cameras wouldn't see. So, I mean, this is the person who was working with Sarah to take down this organization. Yeah. She happened to catch her at that perfect moment where, working together, they could do this.
She was the last piece of the puzzle. She and Chuck were the last piece of the puzzle that Mary had been working toward this whole time.
Yeah. So
and how much did you love that Chuck did this without using the intersect? I mean, he flashed out the Hydra at the very beginning, but the plan, that was all him and office supplies.
Yeah.
And putting it all together, which you can see. NBC has an exclusive up on their Chuck site where you can actually go explore that big wall of cards and photos and strings.
Yeah. Oh, speaking about that, we didn't mention in the news about there's a few sites that NBC is putting up relating to this. That's one of them. I think we mentioned a little bit last podcast about the or was it just on the site about the wedding?
Yes, that just went up last night. They emailed and let us break the news.
Yeah.
That chuckandsarahwedding.com it's basically just a placeholder right now. And guys, don't give them too much grief that the lady in the wedding cake topper has brown hair. Don't worry. Yeah. They'll make it a little more customized as it goes along. Fans, I tell you got to have it right from the beginning. But yeah, they're intending to kind of let us go on this wedding planning journey with Chuck and Sarah, which I think is pretty cool. And then within the Chuck's Tactical Plan site on NBC.com/Chuck is the Project ISIS files. And you can go in and check those out. There's a passcode that you have to get, and I'm not supposed to say what it is, but if you check the comments on ChuckTV.net on that article, you can find it and get a little more intel. Cool.
So
guide you over to the next week.
Yeah. So we had some neat stuff in this episode. Now I was somewhat thrown when the Orion words came on Volkoff's screen.
I was so hoping that he was still there. But...
Yeah, I was really, really hoping that Papa B was back in business.
But isn't it also, as much as I miss Papa B, I really liked that it was, once again, we saw Chuck taking control and saying, I am Orion, in the same way that he decided that he was going to be a spy. He made that choice.
Yeah.
For
Well,
better
and
or worse.
I thought that made it all the more emotional because he was completing what his dad started, and here was the guy who ultimately took away his dad. That I mean, even I didn't quite understand that, but I think we'll understand that maybe a little more later. But he really credits this guy for destroying his family because he took away his mom, and that led his dad down a dark path or whatever. And to see Chuck bring that closure, not only did he capture this guy, but how he captured him was so cool.
Yeah, I was really excited. I really thought for a while there when Chuck was laying down on the ground and Volkoff had the gun pointing at him that he was going to flash and go into his, supersonic mode. But I thought it was so much better that he didn't. But I didn't realize at the time that his confidence came from knowing his plan and everything was going according to his plan. So for me, I loved that scene. I just ate it up, and I had chills.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it was really more classically structured than perhaps some of the other episodes. Like this is what you would call in films an all is lost moment, where it appears like there's total and complete failure, where Chuck is down, Volkoff has the gun to his face. There's an assassin in the hospital who's killing Casey, and he's right next door from his sister and all the people he loves. Like he's got an execution plan for every single person that he loves. His mom is apparently in custody and all this stuff. So when he then pulled out of it with his wits, it was just so amazing.
Yeah. And Casey.
Yeah.
Popping open and then showing the finger monitor.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That really got me when I knew it couldn't be that he was actually dead because I'd seen the photos for the next episode. But my brain was just, this does not compute. Wait, what is happening? What is happening?
Yeah.
How much did you love that there were no bullets in that gun?
Yeah.
They told us earlier in the episode when Chuck told his mom, we really need to talk about the benefits of using trank guns.
Yeah.
And they told us
that
the gun would not be loaded when they said that.
Well, that's the fun.
But it didn't cross my mind though. The gun's not loaded.
Well, that's the fun thing with this episode. When you go back and watch it, there's so many things that they planted. Like planting that bonsai there and talking about the fact that he didn't bring a gun. And if you watch, Casey is showing them that thing on his finger, like he's holding it up in front of the camera so that you make sure that you see that he's got that thing on his finger.
But they did the old sleight of hand thing where they showed us the bonsai tree, his other hand, and not the hand that had the monitor on it.
Yeah.
So that was. Lots of cleverness. Oh, and speaking of Easter eggs, we got paging Dr. Adler for no reason except it was funny. There's no reason to do that except to give Allie Adler a shout out.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Props to, this is a Rafe Judkins, Lauren LeFranc episode. And again, out of the ballpark.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
Definitely.
prove over and over, they prove that they've been Chuck fans all along.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, all the little intricacies. Yeah.
Yeah. Chuck and Morgan, at times they can do amazing things, but they're still their bumbling selves, like grabbing the wrong guy and both of them knowing that it was really a bathroom.
No, it's hell. We worked really hard. And then Morgan not wearing anything.
Wetsuit. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And didn't he look like Gollum to you when he first came on board the ship?
Hey, wow. Yeah, it was funny. He did.
Yeah.
And then when Sarah gives him her coat, and this is going to be a little small.
Uh-huh.
Oh no, he is Sarah's size.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
Very
we got a Settlers of Catan online shout out.
What's that?
a Settlers of Catan online shout out. That's how they tracked down the engineer, the scientist.
Yeah.
Was through his clan. Okay, I may be slightly addicted to that game. That's the game I play online.
Oh yeah.
Settlers of Catan. Yeah, it's in case you wanted to know, games.asobrain.com.
Mm-hmm.
And I apologize in advance for your lack of productivity.
We had some fun stuff like Morgan's version of getting through the lasers.
Yes.
Which I thought was fun, and I love that he ends up with his clothes off and he doesn't actually succeed.
I don't understand why he had to take his clothes off.
Basically the lasers cut his clothes off.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were shredded.
Yeah.
Okay. But wasn't he wearing his wetsuit?
Well, yeah.
I guess so.
But nothing under. So that's how close those things came.
Yeah.
I would have thought his beard would be gone too.
Uh-huh. That'd be funny.
Some slice marks, here and there.
Mm-hmm.
We got Sarah and Casey calling each other by their first names.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When Casey was coming out of the coma.
Yeah.
And he's saying pants and, he's never gonna wear pants again. And he tells Chuck that that came from Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on when she sees that he's okay and she calls him John.
Mm-hmm.
And we got the hug got edited out.
Oh, there was a hug?
There had to have been a hug. You know that's what she was going in for.
Yeah.
I hope that's on the DVD.
But I loved the exchange between Casey and Alex.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was extremely sweet. I think she showed a bit of her father in her, her. Well, I mean, she did. She was pretty much channeling him. I'm not going anywhere. She tells him, and I don't know. I just thought it was sweet. I liked it. For such a short time, she just gets to know him, and they've already got this bond. So, I don't know.
And once again, Baldwin turns in an amazing performance.
Mm-hmm.
Very quiet, but powerful again.
Yeah.
I'm really loving what he's doing this season.
Yeah. And now we should talk about the Jeffster song. Which people were mixed about. Mo Ryan thought it was their best yet. I personally, I don't know why, it just rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know.
I thought it was sweet that they wanted to be a part of Ellie Greenberg, that they felt like it was their right.
Uh-huh.
And it was sort of their gift to her, even though she clearly didn't take it that way. But, in their own way, it was a very sweet gesture. Mm-hmm. They got to mock the songs that are chosen for the show at the same time.
Uh-huh.
So it was the wedding all over again.
Uh-huh. I expected them to go a cappella. Like I expected Jeff to break out those little glasses again and remember when they sang that song just unplugged and actually sounded really good?
Yeah. That would have been nice.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, Salt and Pepper a cappella. Not really sure if that would have been an improvement.
Yeah. But at least the saving grace, and I think they were very wise how they did this. If people liked it, they liked it, and they knew if people didn't like it, that they could take joy in the fact that they were taken away by the police.
It's true. Yeah. But it's the people actually dancing with them.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I think Jeffster may actually have fans.
Uh-huh.
Who'd have thought?
Oh, I thought it was funny. I like the knock against Coldplay. Sorry, I'm a Coldplay fan.
No.
It was a kind of a meta moment because we get so many indie bands on the show.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was funny, and they are trying to do their part for the future music lovers,
mm-hmm. And there was a really nice little moment between Casey and Devin when they're in front of the baby room, and Casey talks about how he wasn't there for his daughter, and basically Casey just cuts through this fear that Devin has, and basically it's like a little military thing. He's just like, get in there. do it.
Yeah.
And
And you could see the change come over Devin's face. I really liked that. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
I thought it was hysterical that he was reacting the way he was, he's a doctor, for crying out loud. It's not like it's something he didn't ever know about. So I think it's just the fact that it was happening to him and he was the one.
Well, you do get the sense that he's obsessive compulsive.
Oh yeah.
Like,
well, he had his own chart, his own little plan up on the wall.
Yeah.
For getting Ellie to the hospital, but apparently the CIA came instead and did it. I'm not sure, but he had all these different variations depending on the time of day, what traffic is like, so which route they should take, and keep the car full of gas at all times, and
Devin's awesome when his world is a certain way. When his world gets shaken up, he goes crazy.
Yeah.
Now I gotta nitpick just a tiny bit.
Mm-hmm.
Ellie calling for Pitocin. That's an inducement drug.
Oh yeah.
She was already in labor. Her contractions were 10 minutes apart. She was right on schedule.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't need that.
Yeah, that was a little oopsie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I have 10 nieces and nephews, 9 of whom were delivered with no painkillers. So there's a little gripe for me anyway. But really, Pitocin? No.
Yeah.
Call for an epidural. You're going to do anything.
Yeah, I'm sure it was just a research oopsie.
Yeah. That was just one, that tiny niggling thing out of a really good episode that just sticks in your brain because it's like the only thing that's wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we got baby Clara.
Yeah.
And Mama B got to be in the room.
Oh, which was
awesome.
That.
And when the nurse came out and said, "Are you family?" and everybody, even Casey and Sarah, said yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, holy tug at the heartstrings at the end.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I kind of got teary-eyed when they all, made her go in, made Mama B go in.
Yeah. And it was just such a perfect moment with, Mama B was there. Like, this is the person that Ellie has just dreamed of having in her life for so long. Morgan and Casey and Alex are having, they're coming together, all of them, the 3 of them, in such an amazing way. And it's really cool to see, actually. Like, Casey's this guy who was just an island in the beginning of the series. And Morgan is, more than anybody else, he looks up to him so much. Like, the little comments that he makes about how there's nobody stronger than this guy, and all that kind of thing. And Casey hears that stuff, and Alex hears that stuff, and it's such a neat mix to see how he loves Casey so much that it's helping him win Alex.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if Morgan's helping Alex discover her dad in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it is a funny thing because initially you'd think Morgan is the guy that Casey would least want his daughter to be with, but then we're seeing more and more and more how he's actually a great guy to bring everybody together.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Was Morgan's evolution just in this season alone, since he fell into Chuck's spy world. I don't know. I'm just really impressed, and he's become a character that it's my favorite on the show. Whereas in the beginning, he was just so annoying. In fact, I've said it before on these podcasts that he annoyed the heck out of me. But I love him. I love when he comes through for the team with his bits of, little bits of wisdom that you just sit there and go, wow, did that come out of Morgan?
Yeah, I think between being part of Chuck's spy world and Alex, I think between those 2 things, he's really had a reason to mature finally. He's been drifting for so long and kind of stuck in the past, and now he has a reason. he has somebody to look up to. I mean, he's got his best friend, but he also has Casey.
Mm-hmm.
He sees Chuck being settled in this relationship with Sarah, more or less now for sure. And I think it's just given him kind of a kick in the pants he's needed to man up.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's neat to see how, in his fun way, he is actually growing in his spy skills too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the fact that as he's maturing, his friendship with Chuck didn't take that fork in the road that might have happened, that I thought was going to happen. I thought that Chuck would go way up here and leave Morgan behind, and Morgan would be stuck back with Jeffster.
Yeah.
So
that's true. They had to bring Morgan along so that he could be Chuck's friend still. That's a good point.
Yeah.
And I like the way they did it. So.
Well,
Yeah,
and it was neat.
It
was neat that Chuck obviously had the army right there, and yet Morgan was the guy who was operating the computer and putting the things together and making it happen. So I don't know when we're ever going to hear General Beckman actually admit that Morgan is of value, but maybe it's coming.
Yeah. I mean, she finally admitted that Chuck and Sarah were a good team, so
Mm-hmm.
their feelings for each other were positive.
Yeah. Well, and they did just take down Volkoff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Who is not dead.
Yeah.
Yay! I'm so glad they did not kill him off.
Yeah.
I have to.
Well, and I love about him as a villain that more than any other villain that I remember seeing in a long time, where he just doesn't do what you would expect. Like even just in the really delightful reactions he has in a room, like when he doesn't kill Mama Bartowski because he wants her to see this whatever. It's like it's evil, but it's sort of in it with a twist on it.
Yeah.
Which is so neat.
He's standing there giving orders while eating an ice cream cone.
Yeah. or killing his guy because he laid a hand on the person who just betrayed him.
On his frost.
Yeah.
That really caught me. My frost. You
Yes.
touch
And
my
when
frost.
they're doing that video chat on the phone, he just frosted to me. She's like, I can see you. Oh, wow. The things she's had to put up with for 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she didn't die, and neither did he. So I'm really excited because I was really worried that they would kill her off, and I'm totally loving her, Linda Hamilton, in this role. I adore her in this role.
Which makes you wonder where they're going to go for the next 11.
I do wonder that.
Well, maybe we should head to spoilers then.
Maybe we should.
Yeah, I guess we've talked about pretty much everything. That proposal we covered in the end. We covered Clara.
Sarah got to throw a knife finally.
Yeah. And the preview for next week, I guess we can cover in the spoiler section. We usually talk about that here, but might as well. Let's support people's right to be spoiler free.
Okay.
And I do want to apologize. I did call for people's comments, and just because of some scheduling issues, we're gonna have to leave the comments out for this time. But please do send your comments in, your suggestions, your comments about the episodes, both Chuck episodes, and also thoughts for where you think things are heading and all kinds of stuff like that. Send them in.
Yeah.
But first, we got to thank our sponsors.
And now we want to thank our sponsors, ielabs.com, makers of award-winning Action Blue AVC HD conversion software, which offers full HD videos on regular DVD discs. It even works with HD clips from the newest iPhone 4. You can get your free trial of the software at ielabs.com. We also want to thank moviemorons.com for supporting Chuck versus the podcast. Movie Morons is a podcast all about film. So if you are inclined to find out what movies you should be watching this fall, check out moviemorons.com. And SyrianJunkies.de. We want to thank them for supporting us as well.
Hello, this is Christina Caramel from Serienjunkies TV. Are you addicted to TV shows? Be our guests and learn the latest news and reflections on what's going on in the world of TV series. Well, our show is in German, but maybe you want to drop in anyway, then visit www.serienjunkies.de and watch out for our video podcast. See you.
And we're back. And so this is the point in the episode where we start to wrap things up. One little plug that I wanted to make is I just got word actually from a Chuck fan who heard it from Adam Baldwin, who is not Canadian, but somehow he tweeted that the internet rules are changing in Canada in a couple of weeks, and internet fees are going way up to the tune of my rough estimate is that it's going to cost about $500 more per year to run the podcasts. So
holy cow.
Yeah, like hugely up. Basically anything more than 25 gigs of bandwidth usage per month, they bill you something like $2 per gig, which if you know tech terms is a lot.
Yeah.
And
Time
so
to start hosting in the US, Greg.
Yeah. Well, it's not just hosting, like all the uploading and when we do the podcast recording and that kind of thing. So I do want to remind you that there are lots of ways that you can support the podcast. You can, whenever you buy things at Amazon.com, just start with chuckpodcast.com, and there's links that can take you to the full Amazon.com site or Amazon.ca, and the purchases that you make can give a little kickback to us. Watch the podcast on blip.tv, chuckpodcast.blip.tv, or else in the web browsers at chucktv.net or other places. And also donations are, you don't know how much donations help. They help tremendously. Even a tiny donation goes a long way. And also, hey, if you want to sponsor the podcast, if you have a product to advertise, we'd love to have your support. It will help to cover this really bizarre fee. Gives me another reason to move to the States, which I am definitely planning on doing. So that's the plug. If you want to find out all the ways you can support, just go to chuckpodcast.com, and there's a link to find out all the ways that you can support the podcast, and we do appreciate it.
That's right. And remember, if you have any questions or comments to share, please email us at mail@chuckpodcast.com. Be sure to join us on chucktv.net on Monday, February 7th, for the live chat during the next new episode. We have lots of fun in there.
Mm-hmm. And make sure you do watch Chuck live, even though we did blame the weather this week. It would be a real shame if we had low ratings next week. So do watch Chuck live Monday night at 8. And now we have the point in the podcast where we talk about spoilers, so you can pull your headphones out. And I actually don't want to hear spoilers. I had my experience this week with spoilers where Josh Schwartz spoiled just a little my enjoyment of the episode. So I'm going to take my own headphones out, and I'm not going to do the spoiler section this time. So I'm going to say bye-bye. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Gray.
See you next week.
What a goober. All right, so we have the official synopsis for Chuck episode 414, Chuck versus the Seduction Impossible, which airs Monday, February 7th. The team jets to Morocco to save one of their own. John Larroquette returns as Roan Montgomery. Linda Hamilton and McKenna Melvin also guest star. In need of an exciting new mission, Chuck, Sarah, and Casey are sent to Morocco to rescue Roan Montgomery. Meanwhile, Chuck and Sarah are at odds over their future plans, and back home, Morgan prepares to meet Alex's mom as Mary bonds with her family. Sarah Lancaster, Ryan McPartland, and Benita Federici also star. Mm-hmm. And if you saw the preview after this week's episode, there's also that very funny moment where they're spying on, I guess, the mission in Morocco with the belly dancers, and Sarah says, I just want to make one thing clear. I will, at no point during this mission will I be wearing a belly dancing costume. And then they cut to her wearing a belly dancing costume for Chuck. So I think she's wearing it in private and not as part of the mission. So
yeah,
the point stands.
Yeah. Yeah, the old
funny
role play. She looked good.
She did. Well, she always looks good.
I know.
Yeah. And then Roan's back and Chuck's glad. I like that guy. He says, well, he would.
I do too. Going to be
His
interesting to see why he needs rescuing.
Yes. And what he thinks about newly engaged Chuck and Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you remember, first time around, he kind of goaded them into their first real kiss, like their first "we're not dying" kiss, you know. And you know, he's had a lot of insight into what was going on with the two of them. So I wonder if he'll be gloating.
I'm sure there'll be just a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Well, TVLine.com has a new interview with Schwartz and Fidek, who answered some questions about the episode this week, and they dropped some clues about what's coming up. So here's the highlights from that. First of all, Sarah did say yes to Chuck's proposal, in case you didn't see that little hug at the end of the episode. That meant yes. She also said it, too.
Yes. If you watch her lips, you can see it.
You can see it. Mama B and Volkoff will be part of the Back 11. They are going to be in a multi-episode arc, a couple of them.
Yeah.
So,
sweet.
I know. I'm so excited. I don't mind being spoiled about that.
No.
They didn't outright confirm it, but it sure sounds like Vivian is Volkoff's daughter. Vivian is not part of a love triangle with Chuck and Sarah, although her interaction with them sounds like it's going to be more than just superficial. Robin Givens' character, who first appears in 4.16, she's not only making Casey an offer he can't refuse, she has secrets that even Beckman doesn't know. Yikes. Beckman doesn't know some secrets?
Well, if you remember, Robin Givens' character is a director with the National Clandestine Service with the CIA, and Beckman is with the NSA. So apparently there's some information that they haven't been sharing, interagency sharing. I don't know. I'm intrigued.
Oh, what would that mean?
I don't know. I see another game changer. Drink! In the works.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay, I was really listening. I just have to mention that a very astute fan saw on IMDb that Vivian is listed as Vivian Volkoff.
Yeah, but anybody can go in and put that information in.
That's true. That's true.
So don't take that as rock solid, but it sure is sounding that way. I mean, ever since she was introduced, people have been suggesting, speculating that she is a Volkoff.
Mm-hmm.
So
could be a red herring.
Could be like the gobbler.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I am back in the spoiler section, but
part of me.
Yeah. So I guess that is all we have for this week. And I can't wait to see next week. I do love Roan, though I do think it will be a lighter episode, which we probably need a little bit of lightness, and then we'll get back into the mythology after that.
Mm-hmm. The next 2 episodes are supposed to be kind of lighthearted, standalone, like honeymooners type episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll move back into the mythology for the last 9.
Yep.
9! 11 episodes left.
Nothing wrong with lightness.
Nope.
Especially on Chuck.
Yeah.
Cool. So I guess that's all we have. So I guess the snowstorm would have blown over by the time you get this podcast, but if not, be safe as you drive, and be safe as you walk. My wife actually slipped on the ice a couple of times in the last couple of days. So be safe wherever you are, and the best way to be safe is cuddled up on your couch watching Chuck.
That's right.
Yeah. So on that note, bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye-bye.